Good evening, dear students. Myself, Dr. Neha Srivastava, Assistant Professor, School of Agriculture. Today, we will discuss on the topic study of genetics of quantitative traits. That is lecture number 4 of your unit 1. Subject crop improvement 1 and its code is GPB 311. These are the outlines which we will discuss today, that is importance of topics, that why we have to study about the quantitative traits. Next, what is quantitative traits? About quantitative traits we will discuss. Third is inheritance or genetics of quantitative traits, that what are the genetics of quantitative traits. Aspects of quantitative traits, and the experiment which we will discuss, famous experiment, that is Nielsen experiment. After that, learning outcomes and references. So let's start our discussion. That is importance of topic. Okay, so today's our topic of lecture is importance study of genetics of quantitative traits. Why we have to study this quantitative traits? Till now we have studied about the plant genetic resource only, that in crop improvement. First lecture was course overview. Second and third lecture we have discussed about the plant genetic resource, that how we will get the material, from where we will get the material, and what are the criteria, different things we have studied in which is known as plant genetic resource. Under that many categories are there, activities are there which we have discussed in last lecture. So now we have in first and second and third lecture we come to know that how we have to conserve, how we have to utilize, what is plant genetic resource, from where we will get material. Now next step is, if we get material, then we have to do our research or breeding program. But before that what we must know, or we should know, that is traits, characters, which is the main thing, means we have to just study about the quantitative and qualitative traits or characters. Quantitative, if you are going to study about quantitative traits, means by the name only you will come to know that it is quantity. We are talking about quantity character which we can measure, and if it is qualitative, then it's quality we can't measure. We are studying about the quality characters. So every traits or characters in plants or crop is either quantitative or qualitative. So we have to study first. That's why we have to study about the characters, these traits, and what are the genetics behind this. With both the traits, what are the genetics behind this? So in this lecture only we will study the genetics of quantitative traits. Okay, so what is important? First, there are two basic requirements in plant breeding. Your course name is GPB 311. Okay, so GPB means genetics and plant breeding. Okay, so this is your GPB course, means you have to do breeding program or learn breeding program. So for breeding program, plant breeding program, the two basic requirements are, I have said you earlier also, genetic variability and selection. These are the requirement. Okay, that it should be highly variable, and then we have to do selection. And while selection, what it involves? In selection, generally in selection what we do? We do identification and isolation of desirable plant. Just imagine in field, if we have planted about 100 genotypes or germplasm, among them all will not give a good result. Some will be higher, some will give high yield, some will give medium, some will low, like that. So we will select the higher yield plant from that 100 genotype. That is called identification. After that we will isolate it and multiply it, or we can use that plant in our breeding program. So like that we do selection. But for selection, we planted plant, that is called population of plant. Okay, from that population generally we see morphological, means phenotypically. Phenotype means what we can see, that is phenotype. So it's based on phenotype, and the population has both heritable and non-heritable components. Means population means, if I am saying population means it's plant population. How heritable it is? Due to genes present in the population. If any plant is there, definitely it has genes. So that's why it is heritable. So that's why it is important to study the genetics of the traits. You should know the genetics of the traits. So first we will discuss today on quantitative traits. Okay, now let's start. Quantitative traits. Now we will learn that what is quantitative traits. Quantitative means we can measure. What we can measure is known as quantitative, and this depends on the cumulative action of many genes. The quantitative traits, what we are saying, if any plant is, we are seeing any plant, so we can see how whatever it's looking like, means how, if I generally if I see any rice plant, then if someone will ask that how it is looked like, or not plant, you just take an example of yours only or your friends only. If I ask that how is your friend looking, or how is it, so by seeing only you can say na that this my friend is tall, my friend hair is black, what we can see, like that only. And so these are the phenotypic traits. And quantitative means what are the reason behind its tallness, what are the, so genes are responsible, like that of plant also, that what are the genes which are responsible for tallness or black hair. And environment effect also. Quantitative traits is affected by environment also, because whatever we are seeing, that is only quantitative, and we can measure that also, like plant yield, crop yield. If crop yield, then behind crop yield many genes are responsible. That's why it is quantitative. Not only one gene is responsible. Okay, if the character is governed by more than one gene, then it is called as quantitative traits, or we call polygenes, because it is governed by more than one gene. Quantitative traits, always remember that quantitative traits are always governed by more than one gene or sometimes few gene. Okay, that's why it is called as polygene. And each gene has a small effect, means if your hair color is black, just example I am giving, if your hair color is black, then it's not only because of one gene, it is because of more than one gene. So that type of traits are known as polygenes. We show, and these quantitative traits show continuous variation. Okay, example, yield, plant height, these are the quantitative traits. Example, that what are the traits? Yield, plant height, days to flower, maturity, seed size, many are there. These are, we will study every traits in every crop. We study every traits, quantitative and qualitative both. So you will come to know many things. So these are the some traits, quantitative traits. Example. So now you understand that what I am saying, that quantitative traits are the polygenic, because it is governed by more than one gene, and we can measure these are the some points to remember, that we can measure the quantitative traits. Okay, and it shows continuous variation. Now here see, this example is there. Height, people's height are there, some are short, some are middle, in not neither short nor tall, and some are tall, like that. It's variation, it's showing variation. So it is quantitative traits. Okay, inheritance of quantitative traits. Inheritance means how it is transferring from one generation to another generation, or what is the reason of quantitative traits. What we are is studying means genetics of quantitative traits. So it can't study it through classical inheritance of genetic analysis. That's why it applies statistical procedure. Some statistical procedure are applied for inheritance of quantitative traits. Okay, let's start. To study the inheritance of quantitative traits, some aspects are there which you should know, and it's very important, that are multiple factor hypothesis, polygenic inheritance, and continuous variation, role of environment in quantitative inheritance. Okay, first is multiple factor hypothesis. Multiple factor hypothesis means it is one hypothesis which was given by Nielsen and Allais in 1908. Before giving this hypothesis, you know Mendel very well. Whenever we talk about genetics and plant breeding, then the first name came in our mind is Mendel, Gregor Johann Mendel. What he did, I know you all know very well. We will discuss in this in class, webinar class. Okay, so we have to so Mendel law of inheritance could not explain the quantitative traits because it shows continuous variation. Okay, so Mendel law didn't show the quantitative traits because of continuous variation. After Mendel, you have heard about name of Hugo de Vries. So what he did, he also did some experiment regarding continuous variation. After that, in 1906, Yule suggested that many genes with small and similar effects could produce continuous variation. And this is due to the transmitted due to the law of Mendel. This is because of law of Mendel. He just proposed this thought, his thought. He proposed this thought, but he didn't did anything. After that, in 1908, Nielsen Allais, this is a multiple factor hypothesis. So in 1908, Nielsen Allais represented one experiment which shows evidence and support the hypothesis of Yule. Okay, who suggested that the genes were transmitted according to the law of Mendel. And what he did, Nielsen and Allais, we will see that. See, his experiment is here. What he did, Nielsen and Allais experiment, in his experiment, it's very famous experiment. you all should know. So what he did, he studied the inheritance of seed color in wheat. Okay, he studied the inheritance of seed color in wheat and oats also. And after studying what he said, that when he made the cross between red kernels and white kernels, then he got medium red in F1 generation. See, it is here, you can see also, when he made the cross between red kernels and white kernels, red kernels denote AABB. Okay, so it's AB, and white kernels is by AABB, means small a and small b. So it's when he made cross between, then he got medium red. He A and BB is, means he denoted that red kernels by capital A means AB, which is the genotype of the red kernel seed, and white kernel is the genotype, means AB. When he made cross between them in F1 generation, see, it is written phenotype is red kernel, genotype of that plant is this, and the gamete what he call is AB. Okay, then when he made cross between them, he got in F1 generation capital A, capital B, means in this he got medium red cross F1. In F1 he got medium red. Okay, but in F2 generation, when is in F2 generation, what will happen? Selfing. So it will segregate in F2 when we do selfing between them, means what gamete we found? AB, capital AB, capital A, small b. What will, just you made this between from this medium red, AB, BB. So capital A, capital B, capital A, small b, small a, capital B, small a. Small a, capital B, small a, small b. So these gamete we will found. Gametes are there. So we do selfing. See, same it is written as above also. So just do selfing. AB, 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 everything you just do selfing, you will get these types of gamete. Okay. If he did selfing, then he found that he didn't found only red kernels, not white kernels. Other than that, he found what? Some are dark red, some are medium red, some are light red, and some are white. So how many type of phenotype he found? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of phenotypes. In 5 types of what he found, that one is only dark red, 4 is, in 4 ratio he found medium red, 6 ratio 1 is red, that is darkest, 4 is dark only, 6 is medium red, 4 is light red, and 1 he found white. 1 he found white. So it means that the color of kernel is not only governed by one gene, more than one gene is governing this character. So this shows that quantitative traits is governed by more than one gene. Okay, which what we can see that red kernel is governed by, means color of kernel is governed by more than one gene. I think you all come to know about this Nielsen experiment. See how it come. It's we can divide it in different color. See, capital A, capital B, means both the alleles are in dominant both the alleles are dominant, so it darkest red. After that, capital A, capital B, small b. One is recessive, three are one is recessive and one is dominant. So it's means only dark, not darkest. If only one allele is recessive, then it's only dark. Then what is medium? If two alleles are recessive, then it's medium. And if three are, then light. One is dominant, then light. And if all are in recessive condition, then it is white, colorless. So here we can clear that it is governed by more than one gene, 1, 2 or 3 gene. Okay. So this is the Ninsel-Allais experiment. What this experiment shows? This experiment shows that the seed color was governed by 1, 2 or 3 genes. So the means if wherever it is intensity of 2 genes, it's produce red color. And if it is recessive allele, means it will not produce any color. And the intensity of color also depends upon the number of dominant allele. How many dominant allele are there in both the genes present? If in genotype capital A, small b, and capital A, small a, capital B, small b. So these are, in these conditions are both. Why? Because in these two alleles are, two dominant alleles are there. So if two dominant alleles are there, then it will produce medium red. I think now you will come to know, but in webinar class we will discuss more on this. So this is called multiple factor hypothesis or polygenic inheritance. Next is polygenic inheritance and continuous variation. These are the aspects, that what are the genetics behind this. I have given you proof also, the experiment of Ninsel-Allais. Okay, next is polygenic inheritance and continuous variation. Actually multiple factor hypothesis, or it's also called polygenic inheritance. In some place you will found that it is written multiple factor hypothesis or polygenic inheritance. So it's little bit similar. Multiple factor hypothesis also on the basis of 2-3 genes, and polygenic is also for inheritance of 2 or 3 genes, that what is the effect. And continuous variation is due to the polygene only. So in this also we will talk about the effect of environment, that at quantitative traits effect of environment is environment affect the phenotype or quantitative traits, and it's also depend upon the number of genes. The environment effect would produce a continuous variation if the number of gene is governing character was very small or even one only. And a similar continuous variation is also produced if the number of gene governing the character is increased. That's why it assumed that the effect of environment is 0. But as the number increases, or means as the gene number increases, the number of phenotypic classes increases by 2. Means somewhere environment is affecting the phenotype of the plant. So it's in third point it's there, that role of environment in quantitative inheritance. What is the role of environment in quantitative inheritance? Quantitative characters, in definition also we saw that it's affected by the environment. So if any phenotype is there, then P is equal to G plus E, means its genotype and plus environment effect. The both together form a phenotype. If there is no environment effect, means is due to the genotype only. So there will be a complete correspondence between a phenotype and the genotype alone. That's why it's called that the phenotype is a result of both. Which two things joined and make phenotype? That is genotype of the plant and the environment. Yes, it's true that the environment effect is not heritable, and it passed on to the progeny. Thus the only part of phenotype that is the result of genotype is heritable. So what is heritable? Only genotype of the plant is heritable. And generally in crop improvement, whenever we are talking about crop improvement or breeders select any plant, is on the basis of their phenotype only. So it's depend on the proportion of phenotype resulting due to the genotype. Therefore, it is important for the breeder to know the extent to which the environment influence different quantitative characters. If you grow large number of genotype or strain of varieties in a replicated trial, just example, then the number of genotypes should be as large as possible, so that the environment effect becomes zero, means less. After that only we can subject that data to analysis of variance, means we show the environment effect less. That's why whenever we are going for a trial we used to plant in replicated trial to affect the environment effect, to less the environment effect. So this is the role of environment in quantitative traits. Now, what are the learning outcomes you will come to know? In this you just see that what are the quantitative traits and what are the genetics of quantitative traits. That is by one experiment you come to know that how one character is governed by more than one gene, and genotypically also you come to know that how the ratio comes. Environment is also affecting quantitative traits. To less the environment effect, we generally plant the crop in replicated trial. And phenotype is due to the role of environment and genotype only. So when you will study about these, that the study of quantitative traits, after this when you will come to the characters when you have to in practical or in crop. When we study about crop wise, then we will come to know many traits, quantitative traits. So these are the discussion, the points which I have kept in front of you. And I preferred B.D. Singh book, that is Principles and Methods of Plant Breeding. Please go through it once. And if you found any confusion, you can ask easily. Actually, it's given in book. It is in very broad way. So you even then also you just read the chapter. That is on chapter number 7, qualitative and quantitative traits. You will come to know many things very clearly. So thank you student. We will discuss on this topic in our webinar class. Thank you very much.